All right, welcome back, everybody, to Running the Rift Running the Rift's pre-records of the NACL Open qualifiers. We're coming at you with game number 2 in the 1-0 bracket between the Pookie Bears and Aporia. Aporia, once again, selecting to go on towards that red side. We'll have to see how they are going to be able to put together a second win here. That is certainly going to be their goal. So you can see it's going to be a Lucian Melio bot lane this time around. So still looking to play aggressive, but maybe with a little bit less range than last time around, and going for the Vi in the jungle for music.
And you pointed out perfectly, right? They are both 1-0 teams. They want to secure that second victory because, once again, 3 victories is the margin. You want to get 3 victories the best you can. So trying to get them, the 2 of them today, would be quite ideal. And looking at the bot lane pairings, interestingly, Lucian Melio has been really popular right now, really strong bot lane duo, but I'm kind of interested in seeing how the Karma Ezreal does. Because if I'm not wrong, they are getting buffs, but for next patch, not particularly this one.
Absolutely here, as now instead going to look to try to get it in as soon as they can. And it makes sense to be able to try to get some practice on the pick if you suspect it's going to be good soon. I did not get to see what the Pookie Bears played last game. I will see if I can find that in the background, but
Let's check quickly.
Yeah, not everybody has titled their post-match games, and I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like this is one of the ones that we spectated. We might have to piece that together later.
With the Bears, yeah, I think it's Bear against MSW. They played, if I'm not wrong, Lucian Melio, Asir, Jace, and Lee Sin, from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, does look like that is going to be the selection. So, going in this time around for the Azir on Aporia, going to be, again, relying on Samakin to be that consistent source of teamfight damage while they just try to balloon their bot lane as far as they can. The Pookie Bears going to go for the LeBlanc in the mid lane, though. That's definitely a spicy one. Might be the AD build. That is a little hotfix nerf, but still, I hear pretty good. And Vamp's going to look... Vamps? That's going to be a hard name to pronounce throughout this game. He's just Chovy in client, by the way, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Understandable.
Vamp.
Yeah, that's why he picks the LeBlanc.
Yeah, so he's going to go for the LeBlanc as the counter pick here. Going to be a big menace in the side lanes. And the Rengar in the top lane for X-Royal. That's an exciting one to be playing up against Mr. Lawrence in that top lane. I have to see how he's going to be able to navigate that matchup. But Lawrence on the Jax, he's no stranger to this pick either. This was his favorite over in the ACL. Played a whole bunch of that throughout the season. Was a crucial carry for his team on that pick. Now we'll get his hands on it for a second time.
So hear me out, Gordo, here. What if it's not Rengar top lane, but Rengar jungle and Xin Zhao top lane? And they actually just think that's better for the Jax.
It might be better up against the Jax, but that would require X-Royal to feel comfortable playing Xin Zhao top.
Yeah.
It would also require Zaijian to want to play the Rengar. Those are both some real outside chances, in my opinion. But it can't be totally discounted. I mean, we talked about this last game. Going in with something a little unexpected, a little non-traditional. Definitely a good, advisable tactic for some of these low-seeded teams coming in up against some of the high-seeded teams. Rengar in any position is going to fill that role. It does look like they are going to choose to take it into the top lane as they are working on their in-client draft, though. So it is going to be Xin Zhao jungle, Rengar up there, holding down top.
And one thing that I'm particularly sure about how they want to try and face this composition is they have a lot of poke, right? They have the Ezreal Karma, and then technically you could say LeBlanc is one of those mages that does build into poking later on in the game. Same for the fact that they go for auto attack based. So you could say they have 3 champions based with a poke. But then you also have the Rengar and the Xin Zhao that want to dive in. So I could see the theory being poking them out really early on in the fight and then allowing the Rengar and the Xin Zhao to just one-shot them really quickly when the fight is about to happen. And with the fact that there's no true tank on the side of Aporia, I can see that strategy kind of working out really effectively. That being said, they cannot fall down behind really heavily because Lucian Melio can destroy everyone. The Vi has a point-and-click CC that does matter a lot when facing champions like the Ezreal that have dashes, and then Jax in the side lane can become a complete menace if left untouched.
So I am guessing the players just didn't get into the right order. But I am looking in the in-client draft, and I see position 3 on the Lucian, position 4 on the Azir. I have to believe that that's just Lynx and Samakin being out of order. But worth noting, I mean, it could be something real spicy here if they like that Lucian into LeBlanc matchup.
I don't think it's going to be Lucian Nasir. Like, I feel like this is just either they were in the wrong position or they are just going to troll until the end, because I cannot see this being a Seer bot lane.
I know, it's so hard to tell
Emilio.
because they're on red side, so they just come up as enemy 1, enemy 2, enemy 3.
Exactly. Now, Azir was changed, right? Like, he now, or at least in the newer season, he was changed so that his soldiers procced on-hit effects.
Correct.
So, could it be a case where with the Milio range advantage that you get with the passive, maybe with the on-hit effects, you can get even more damage with the Azir as a duo? Like, that could be the reasoning, just because of the changes to the on-hit effects. But I just haven't seen any Azir build with on-hit recently that I can remember of.
I mean, you will get the bonus damage from the Milio passive. What you will not get is the range, though, because it cannot increase the cast range of your W. So, I mean, maybe it'll let you swing from a little farther away, like it'll be harder to hit the edge of where you're allowed to command the soldiers, but you definitely can't place the soldiers further.
Yeah, I think that sort of mechanic shouldn't work out. So if that's the case, I just don't see the Azir Milio duo being a thing. Like, if it was amplified, there's 100% a chance that exists. But with it being normal, I just don't see it working out that way. The only other maybe reasoning that I can see is that if it's Azir out attacking literally himself, like no soldiers, just him out attacking. But that kind of takes away from the champion concept, so I just don't see that being the case.
Yeah, definitely got to be a lot of question marks there. I still think, assuming it's going to be the Lucian Milio bot lane, I think this is going to be a good pushing bot side. Music is going to be on the Vi. That's a really great counter out to try to still find ganks up against usually pretty evasive duos like the Ezreal Karma.
Yep. But that is also making it so that they can burst them out really quickly, right? They are still 2 squishy champions. So if they mess their positioning or they try to go for a bit too heavy of an attack, then that just means that they can try and burst them out. And we know Lucian Milio is a combo that can burst out target. Plus, adding on top of that the fact that the Vi can come visit bot lane for quite a bit. We saw Music do that in the previous game against Apex. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that in this game as well. And then just putting Lynx really far ahead with a burst heavy champion like the Lucian can be really scary.
Really can be. Really can make a big difference. It's going to be just a few more seconds left of the spectator delay as we are looking to get into game number 2. This will be our last game of the Saturday. And starting off 2-0 for whoever is going to come out ahead here, that is going to be massive for them as they look to try to get themselves into that 1 win away from qualification to top 16. Solid game number 1 out of Aporia. Seems like it was an upset in game number 1 for the old Pookie Bears. And they're going to look to keep that momentum going.
I just want to quickly make sure again who they were facing. They played against just quickly see against MSW, which I think they should be close in standings. No, actually,
yeah. I mean, so they were the 19th seed. So in round 1, they would have played the 13th seed.
Yeah, I think it was Morning White Star.
Yeah,
or Morning Star White.
Morning Star White. Yeah.
So yeah, technically it was quite a bit of close rankings, realistically.
Absolutely. So definitely some space to be played with on both sides here. And we'll see if they have what it takes to go up against our 3rd seed here. This is going to be a whole nother deal. This is the result of being a little bit of a lower seed in these open qualifiers. Sometimes you just keep getting punished even for success. And that might be the case here for the Pookie Bears as we are going to get in and away to game number 2. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. This Rengar top is surely where this whole match turns. And it is Lynx on the Lucian, so they are just in wrong order, and that's fixed now, baby.
I actually was looking at the screen and was like, wait, they actually went with the Lucian mid lane? No, it's Sam McKinn playing this year and Lynx with the Lucian bot lane. I'm glad that's the case. And also, we don't have a plus, so already a better start in the Brewers game.
True! So we are going to get on into this one. Not going to lie, TDS, I got an LCS watch party to get to, so plenty happy to have this game go off without a hitch. Maybe get some good close gameplay. I'll take that. I'm willing to sacrifice time for a good close game. Willing to sacrifice time for a pause, maybe a little bit less so.
Yeah, that would be the less ideal scenario, in all honesty. But looking just quickly into the level 1, right, because there's nothing out of the ordinary with it, it looks like maybe we get the LeBlanc mid lane, but with the AP version. It was kind of spoken about that, oh wait, ready traits?
Yeah, a little bit of damage coming in across from both sides here, but nothing to write home about. Nothing that's going to severely impact anybody's ability to lane. As Samikin looking to take some early trades up against Vamps. Vanks? There's not enough vowels in this name, man. We're going to call him Vam.
Yeah, I think that probably is easier to try and remember, as we see the early assessment of each of the lanes with trades going in favor quite a bit for the side of Bear, although top lane is probably the most difficult one, just because as Rengar you always want to try and get control over the bush. But apart from that, everything else kind of going in the favor of the side of Bear.
Early aggression out of X-Royal. That is what you expect out of this Rengar top. He's going to get the jump here onto Lawrence, and Lawrence is already so low, he might have to recall here at 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that actually is a scary prospect. Already popped the pod as well. That means that probably not going to want to stay here for as long as possible. And level 2 is also going to be achieved by the Rengar before that. Could be a scary scenario where one flash in from the Rengar with Empowered Q could be the death of the Jax.
Yeah, nice trade found by the LeBlanc here as well. This is looking, we didn't get to talk about it, this is looking like an AP LeBlanc, by the way. He's got the Electrocute, he's got the Doran's Ring start, so not going for that. Will still probably be a side lane a fair bit of the time, but maybe looking for a little bit more assassination, a little bit less split push.
Well, I think this incentivizes the poke version a bit more, just because you get the dash in queued ulti, and that just takes away kind of half of the health bar. And with the Ezreal, the Karma as well, you have more value to be able to blow up targets from a safe distance.
Oh!
And then, oh, that is first blood.
First blood to X-Royal in the top lane. Getting away with the Rengar top, making it work, and finding himself an early kill onto the Jax while he's at his weakest point. Lawrence now has to TP back, only getting the refillable potion. This does not feel good if you're a top laner.
And the lane is in an awful spot. It's still really away from the Jax, so it's not finding the best value possible. As we see Samikin getting stunned there, not going to achieve much, but the mid lane is trading quite heavily, and already Sam's, at the very least, doing a really good job at that.
Yeah, and very quiet early game out of Music so far. Going to try to secure this topside scuttler, maybe give some relief to the top lane. But nobody really coming away with big lane leads outside of X-Royal. Kamir and James doing just a fine job in that bot lane up against this Lucian Melio. Have not found themselves chunked out too much, have not lost too much CS either. As Lawrence now finding a big trade up against Royal, but Royal will regen a bunch of that back, and he's willing to keep the fight going. Is that advisable?
I think he's baiting, though.
Yeah, trying to buy some time here for Zaijian to be able to come on up, and here he arrives. Injao looking to try to turn this play around. Lawrence going to try to make it a 1-for-1, but slowed down by the follow-up bolas. And here comes another kill. Lawrence goes down for the second time. X-Royal and Zaijian pair up to build a bigger lead in top.
That was so well executed there by Royal, waiting for the time, not committing hyper aggressively with just trying to go for the kill. Instead plays around where the Xin Zhao is and bites enough time so that at the end Lawrence gets baited perfectly. You end up dying to the Xin Zhao now, you blow your flash, and the wave is also in a spot where the Rengar doesn't actually need to commit teleport. He can just come back in. He's going to teleport in, but he could just come back in and try and manage it out so that another gank could happen. Oh, Samikin!
Ooh, a real deep dive there from Vam. Not going to be able to find the kill. Nearly going down to the turret in his own right. Samikin will be able to farm out this wave, but you got to believe the recall TP is coming on through soon, and he is falling further and further behind, down about 2 waves compared to where Vam has found himself.
And that's start for the solo laners on the side of Bear. Like, it's not like they got a couple solo kill in the mid lane, yes, but overall, Royal is just doing so well here against Lawrence, and it's just happening consistently. If not for the buy being up there, could have turned into another potential solo kill with Royal having flash.
Just looking unfair up there in the top lane as Repeated jumps out of the bush on towards Lawrence. Chunk him out again. This guy has got no TP. He's only got a cloth armor to his name. And Royal is now level 6 looking for the solo kill once again. And there's the flash in to finish it off. Yep. Lawrence is 0-3. Music manages to secure the grubs, but domination in the top lane for the Pookie Bears.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see what would happen there. Samikin taking a big trade, but here's Music.
Turnaround coming in. Music has got to find a way to get one of his lanes winning here. There's the flash in the bottom lane, looking to lock down Rovex. Zaijian all over the map, building up a lead for the Pookie Bears in both side lanes as Lynx will be forced to retreat.
Lynx almost dies there by the last Mystic shot from the Ezreal, but the angle that the Xin Zhao comes from the side, perfectly executed there. Maybe the mid lane is not finding a lot of kills, but the rest of the map is looking crisp for the side of Bear, and so far looking to try and upset the number 3 seed Gordo. Aporia is feeling the hit at this point in the game.
About a 2k gold lead here at 6 minutes 30. Fantastic look out of the Pookie Bears as they are able to just continue on building out these leads, and they're not going to stop here. They want to get Samikin's flash, or they can catch Rovex in rotation. This Melio has no summoners. He will go down nice and easy as Zaijian looks to get himself another one. Music coming in for the backup, but he's too late to save his support. Samikin finds himself a solo kill over on the side, but Music is just getting focused down too damn fast. Samikin pushes them over to the side, and here comes Lynx to be able to follow up with the damage, looking to clean up the rest of this fight and give that gold over to the Azir. A little fight back from Aporia reduces the lead.
Yeah, Samikin saves the situation there, getting the kill onto the LeBlanc, but also buying enough time so that Lynx can come around and try and help with the fight. They were trying to force a really aggressive fight there, and I don't dislike the decision making there by Bear. The only problem is that you leave yourself at that sort of risk because of where Kemmler was down there, right? He was getting pushed in, so the Ezreal could barely go and support everyone else.
Oh, that chunk of damage out of X-Royal. It is just an undesirable position for Lawrence at this point. There's not really a style of play that gets you out of this disastrous position on the Jax right now. You need jungle support and time, and neither of those seem to be in ample supply here for Aporia.
Yeah, at the very least, though, Aporia does have a Seer and a Jax. Those are two champions that can scale greatly. The problem is that they are down 2,000 gold, and then when you pan over towards the top lane with the Jax, he's almost 20 CS behind. Just 4 of being 20 CS behind. That's a scary prospect when looking at how you want your Jax to play this game, and how long it'll probably take for Lawrence to be an actual factor in this game as well.
That is the question, right? So we are going to be looking to see even more play around this top side out of the Pookie Bears. Still just looking to get this Rengar into a position where he can be the difference maker in these fights. The Azir going to need to hold on to that Emperor's Divide at all times. Not going to be able to use it aggressively very often this game, as it's going to be needed to get that Rengar off of him.
The Rengar is going to be really scary. He also has a serrated Dirk plus a bit of attempt at going into lethality, so that means that the squishy targets are going to be blown up really quickly if you're not careful enough. Also surprised that Royal didn't opt into the Shin. I thought that Shin was an item that you opt into with top lane Rengar, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case here.
Absolutely here, and snowballing's back on the menu, boys. Is Music gonna be able to find the Dragon Steel? Here's the shove back in. 3 are found by Samikin, but will the damage be able to come together? Link still at full HP, looking for a target to shoot at. Will be able to take down Zaijian. That's 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Make it over towards Aporia as they steal the objective and win the fight.
And that's the sort of turnaround play you need to pull off if you're an Aporia side. They found a massive turnaround play, not only stealing the dragon, but getting 3 kills in the process. And even though they lose Music, it doesn't really matter because you get the important objective. As we see a bit of a damage onto the Blank down there in the mid lane, but overall, this is what you want to get if you're on Aporia side. You want to get this sort of trades, close out the gold lead as much as possible, and try and find ways to stop the bleeding from the top lane.
Absolutely. And so far, been able to actually stop that bleeding, as you said. Lawrence dying 3 times in a row very early, but has had a stable last couple of minutes. Now TPing back up. He's got the Ninja Tabby done. He's actually looking for a little bit of brawl up against X-Royal. Regretting that immediately, though. He has to flash to safety.
And now with no flash, you have to look at what he's able to accomplish there, right? What he's going to try and look for, or what they are going to give him the opportunity to, because with the level discrepancy, probably not going to be much.
Yeah, Void Grubs now started off by Zaijian. He has been able to secure those for himself, at least the first one. And looking like we might have an even 3 Grubs to 3 Grubs game here, TDS. Pretty openly fair on both sides. Nobody getting bites. Just going to be a little bit of extra turret pressure to both sides, making those structures drop that little bit faster.
So you probably know more about this than me, but I thought they were looking for names for the Grubs, and they kind of settled on something like Kevin or something like that, apparently, but I'm not actually sure what it's supposed to be called. Because the Herald is still, like, if I'm not wrong, it's Shelly, yep. And the second one, people kind of flip-flopped around it. But
yeah.
What is the Grub's name, technically?
Medic was really pushing for Ed and Eddie for a bit. I like
Which
that.
Liked, yeah.
I'm in support of that one. I don't know the second one. Like, I don't know. You're going to have to make...
We need to get 2 sets of names. Oh, wait, Music.
Do you, or do you just treat them the same? That's the question, right? Is Music jumping over the wall here? Needs to get himself away from Vam, who's been able to pump out quite a bit of damage in these picks. Still not on a completed item, but has those Sork Shoes, has that burst damage on the base LeBlanc abilities. That is going to be enough for him to be a threat to somebody like Music.
Exactly, and with the fact that this is going to be LeBlanc with the AP version, not the attack speed or the AD version, that means that now you're going to be more on your cooldown. So you have to be really mindful about what you opt into, but also where you expend them. Because if you just jump randomly, Music could just force the ultimate on top of you, so you have to be careful.
Absolutely, will chase you back across that distortion if you do it unwisely. Really powerful engage tool there. Link's looking for some fat trades, looking to take out the support. James, forced back away, has to expend the heal. Plays with fire and gets burned as Lynx and Rovex take control of the bottom lane.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to back here. They don't know where Music is, and the wave is already thinned out. They have no jungler support just yet. They have to give up a bit of the control over the turret. Interestingly enough, though, Lynx, with the amount of damage that he's dealing, he doesn't opt into the double support item. Oh, Lawrence, actually.
Good trade back from Lawrence. Uses the Grandmaster's Might. Gets himself that little bit of extra resistances. Dodges out on the Bola and gets a good trade up against X-Royal. He does have that Eclipse to heal back a little bit, but you're starting to see, right, as Lawrence gets some items onto the Jax, he will start to be able to have a little bit more play into this matchup.
Yeah, the real problem was early on in the lane, it seems like, because the longer you're able to survive, the easier it may become for yourself. Also, the fact that there's no more kind of jungle assistance, that we haven't seen Xin Zhao dropping up there anymore after blowing the flash, anything like that. So at the very least, this eases up the burden on Lawrence to try and just survive and farm up.
Definitely eases it up a fair bit here. Still, Xin Zhao trying to be a menace, trying to make sure that he can keep that lead that he was able to build up early on. Music, no kills to their name, getting killed twice. Has the Black Cleaver done. Still able to bring plenty of value. Looking to dive in for a gank in mid lane now. Good chunk of damage onto Vam coming out of Samakin. As Lawrence is looking for a big play here. Gets a nice stun. Does not want to pursue it any further, though. No ultimate available.
And once again, that's with 2 levels lead on Royal. If it was closer, this could be a much better instance for Lawrence, although here's jungle assistance, maybe.
Jump on away. Music is here in time. He's going to have to commit the ultimate. Lawrence stays alive, but will get executed down. Trades to each jungler as both get kills, and now Music has got to try to find his way out of here. The damage from Zaijian is just too much, and he's going to go in for the dive. The turret shots, though, too much. Music turns it back around and gets 2 for Aporia.
The extra shield making the difference there. Not enough damage on Zaijian, and that just means that it's a 2-for-1. At the end in favor of Aporia. The shutdown has went on to Royal. Even though he doesn't go for Lawrence, it's still a huge shutdown to be able to play with. And now the top lane becoming a much better affair for the side of Aporia. Plus the fact that you're winning bot lane and mid lane.
Yeah, Absolutely, getting a bigger and bigger lead in bot. All those kills going over to Samakin from earlier on, setting up this Azir for success. He's got the Naster's Tooth already completed and is looking to supplement it even more as they are going to get themselves the second dragon as well. Remember, Music stole the first one, so it is now a 2-0 dragon lead over to Aporia as we find out what the Rift's going to be.
I think it's going to be Chemtech. Yep. So that means that it's not the best soul you could have opted into. Oh, Lawrence, you're dead. Yep.
All right, Lawrence drops down, but this means that they have shown on the top side, and it is an open season for Lynx and Rovex. They secure first turret for their team before X-Royal can do the same. And despite the death from Lawrence, that is going to be more gold where they want it on the carries.
And not gonna lie, Gordo, I'm still not sure if you wanted to go for the Ezreal Karma this patch. Probably should have waited one more patch before opting into it, because it's not making much of a difference against this Lucian Milio duo. Oh.
Ooh, dive back in. Samakin looking to shuffle away this LeBlanc Vam. Taken low, not taken down. Rovex getting caught now over the wall. Zaijian will be able to find that target, but they're going to look to take the fight up against him. They've got the Azir turret for the backup damage, and they will melt him down with Samakin. A dive in from X-Royal. Does not care how much damage is there. He wants the kills, and Samakin is happy to punish. Will not be able to finish off the kill. Stuck underneath the turret. Will drop down as the shutdown gold is picked up by Vam. Now Music left out to dry, getting healed up by the cozy campfire. Will be able to stay alive as Rovex keeps the fight going on to KMir, and they're going to try to finish him off. Chovy, not the name of the player, is the name of the account, will be able to get a kill. Vam finishes that one, and it is going to be a messy, messy fight, TDS.
What is up with the game going completely south, and now it's a complete Calm Fiesta, Gordo? It just turned into fighting after fighting after fighting, and people almost dying and then not dying at all. As we see the Reap Herald getting laid down, probably because it's about time for it to turn around. And with it, I'm not sure if they are going to get much value. It's going topside. That's not where you wanted your Reap Herald to go.
You can get on it and ride it to a different lane, but yeah, that does not seem like it is what Zaijian wanted. There's a missing ping up there to confirm that that is not where they wanted it to go. Lawrence, though, not hitting it.
I'm not sure what's happening with the Reap Herald, but it looks like maybe it's going to slowly... Wait, actually, it's dying.
It's struggling. I mean, wave clear is not the Rift Herald's strength, and they might just be able to finish it off. Here comes Vam to try to pilot it and make it have at least a little bit of value, try to push it on in, but Music should be there ready to receive.
I think that pretty much means that now the Rift Herald just dies with one hit.
Yeah.
Well, I think actually LeBlanc got on top of it.
Absolutely. It's now going to be a little bit of focus damage coming on through, on towards this LeBlanc to dive in. They've got Rovex for the backup, but Music is going to have to be the one bringing all of the damage. Not blocking with the clone, and Samakin ends up with the kill. Very well done by Aporia. They take one of the big threats off the map and are now looking to see what they can get off it.
And it was all based on the fact that the LeBlanc got on top of the Herald. You know that you can get on top of it, but you have to be careful about it as well.
Absolutely, starting off their siege now in mid lane. Get onto that inner turret, knowing they have the numbers advantage, knowing that the wave clear is going to be so hard to come by until that True Shot Barrage is up. They should be able to secure this. They've got 3 grubs, but here comes the flank from Zaijian. Know that he is still plenty dangerous on this Injao, but they do finish off the turret and now are looking for the retreat. Nobody going to be able to CC them. Lynx, Rovex, and Music, they are out of there.
Yeah, they just take down the turret, they run away, and they have ways to stop it from being important on the side of Aporia from the engage. Because of the Milio, you cannot just jump in blindly as the Xin Zhao. You're going to get stopped, and when you get stopped, you're probably going to get killed immediately, or at the very least, engaged on. So there's not a lot of actual utility or matter for the side of the Bears to try and make something happen. They have to poke from a safe distance and then hope that the damage is enough that then when they engage, they can kill a target really quickly.
And I'm going to be honest, TDS, I'm seeing shades of game number 1 right here, right? The map gets split vertically. They have the top side given over to the blue team where they were able to focus up and get a little bit of an advantage, but a much bigger advantage is secured for Lynx in the turret plates in the CS and for Samakin in cleaning up all the kills. This is exactly how the first game played out, and it feels like Aporia are plenty comfortable with it.
Exactly, as long as they are finding the right place, Aporia should be comfortable around it. And with Lynx and Samikin being this strong, I also feel like they are willing to just buy enough time so that they can play around it later on. Soul Point spawning in 10 seconds, they probably are going to get a free access to it since Xinjiao is over in the other side of the map, and that pretty much means that the next dragon, if they want to contest on the side of the Bears, it's going to be quite scary if they don't get it.
Do have to be conscious of that Baron, but they have so much vision already secured around it. Wards at every ramp, wards in front of the pit, and that pink ward thrown down inside of it as well. The hunting Baron going to be very well observed by the side of Aporia, and they might just move up here, look to take control over this river while they work on the dragon.
Yeah, they don't need to have multiple members down there. They already have the Vi able to take it by herself, plus the fact that she has the smite, so it's really difficult to try and contest it. And then you also have the really strong core just able to move around really effectively. As long as they are able to keep the map control up to what they were doing previously, it should be really difficult for the side of the Bears to look for anything aggressively. And just like that, they not only lost control of the Baron pit, they also lost the dragon, they lost completely, they even almost lose out on the red buff. On their own red buff.
Very nearly over the wall now, looking for the fight here. They've got the numbers, but the stall from Rovex is huge. Music getting bursted out, but he just gets healed over and over and over again, and nobody can take down the Vi. Here's the flank coming in from X-Royal. He gets taken down. 80 carries fall into Samikin on the other side, and it's a 3-for-2 fight in favor of Aporia. They're making a beeline for the top side of the map.
Yeah, they still have 3 members. That means that they can try and look for the Baron buff if they're willing to go for it, but it doesn't look like they are going to overcommit for the play. That being said, it was started by the Bears, and it ends up being the Bears that lose out on the trade with, at the very least, a shutdown in favor of the LeBlanc, but Samikin is just so strong at this point, and the same for Lynx. Lucian was just free hitting everyone and killing multiple targets in the process, plus the fact that now Lawrence actually feels like a champion. He's doing damage. He was able to get a lot done in that fight.
Absolutely, and does feel like Royal not able to get the value off of this turbo-fed Rengar that you would hope for. The Profane Hydra done on top of the Eclipse. So much burst damage held in that duo of items, but he is not able to get anybody finished off. Music survives an absolutely absurd length of time with all the healing coming through from Rovex, and the only target that they really managed to take down early on in the fight is Samikin, who is trading his life for the other carry.
I realized that I failed to account for the Frozen Heart on Music to make it be as worth as possible as Royal trying to run away. Is he quick enough? I don't think it's his.
Oh, are they just going to commit the ultimate right away? You bet they are. Music keeps the vision onto Royal. Royal going to be able to get the switcheroo, though, up against Lawrence, and the Great Escape is completed.
Yep, it ends up working out good enough for Royal, able to survive by himself, and buys a bit of time on the other side of the map for the LeBlanc to push comfortably on the side. It's going to get answered by Samikin, but at the very least, you're getting some push on the side that can end up mattering. Oh, Lynx.
What a burst of damage there from Lynx with the Cyclo Sword plus the Storm Razor plus the Rapid Fire Cannon. Just does a big chunk of damage there. Reminds Zaijian, who is the damage dealer on this map at this point.
Wait, is that a Frozen Heart Ezreal? Also?
Oh boy, it just might be. We might be in full blue build era. Frozen Heart gives so much value for how little it costs now. It's basically the exact same item it was last season, but it costs like 600 gold less.
So it's easier to get and more useful in multiple situations, pretty much, because with the amount of damage that there's on Lynx.
All right, fam.
I'm with that because it's LeBlanc AP, right? That's AP LeBlanc, so I'm fine with that.
Absolutely here, and then that Storm Surge. Oh boy, so huge.
That already feels like with the now the burst damage from both the LeBlanc and the Rengar, maybe they can kill Lynx before he actually is able to do anything, or Robex before he gets his ultimate down.
Huge stuff here for the side of Aporia so far. They have been able to build themselves up a pretty solid lead here, at risk of being able to take this Dragon Soul with the Baron still alive as well. Going to be an impossible decision coming through for the Pookie Bears before too long.
They're just waiting their time pretty much. Feels like the game is going to be played around that next dragon, right? With 1 minute remaining, with a lot of their champions kind of respecting what the other team can do. And the fact that we already saw, I feel like this also comes from the fact that we saw the LeBlanc almost blowing up Lynx. That now they are waiting a bit longer before they commit for something. Because if not, I think that Aporia shouldn't be this scared about trying to make something happen. Oh no.
All right, here is the dive in, and they are going to be able to just one-shot James. No karma available for this upcoming fight. 5 versus 4 on the map. They've got eyes on X-Royal now. They know where they can play, and this Baron is going to be on the menu. They're focusing in up towards Zaijian on the top side, trying to dive out away, but Rovex is waiting for him, diving back in, but executed by Lynx as another member of the Pookie Bears is off the map. And it is free roam for the side of Aporia to take whatever they want.
Wait, LeBlanc?
Now waiting around here, going to find Lynx, but Lynx is able to dive out to safety, has the cozy campfire for the extra healing, and this will be an easy Dragon Soul for Aporia without that jungler available.
Yeah, Lynx was kind of expecting that to be the case, that the LeBlanc was waiting over there, because just preemptively throwing the W just in case to try and get vision, and then playing around the cozy campfire. At the end, those 2 picks turning amazing for the side of Aporia. They get the soul, and now the Baron should be the next objective. Although now with the Xin Zhao spawning, probably a bit more difficult to try and get. And also we saw on the side, Royal no longer being able to fight as effectively against this Jax on the side.
Definitely here. Khmer looking to finish off this red buff. Its patience is out. You gotta let it come back, man. You gotta get some patience before you're gonna be able to finish it. Finally, we'll be able to secure that red buff for the squad.
So looking at the items, right, just quickly to point out, there is already a lot of completed items on both sides. Importantly, the Frozen Heart on the Ezreal, and then also the fact that you have now the Sonjas plus 4 items on this Lucian. Like, those are item spikes that now Aporia can play around with, because even if the Ezreal is not going to be as easily killable as he was before, it also means that now the Lucian does do enough burst damage to try and go for the Baron buff. Play down there bot lane. Oh, wait.
Ooh, focus in. Rovex trying to flash out to safety. Over the wall. Here comes Music. He's locked in onto Vam and wants to finish him off, but Zaijian is there for the backup. The teleport coming on in from X-Royal. They are going to be able to finish off the Xin Zhao. Now the fight going to continue front to back. Lynx dives forward, looking to get on to Khmer. Cannot finish him on off, but they are going to be able to seal away this blue buff, and they are set up in a perfect position to be able to move on towards the Baron.
It is really weird. They were playing with the ultimate from Royal down there in the bot lane, but then immediately decided to engage, which wasn't a necessarily bad idea. They forced the summoners, but doesn't turn into any fight, and with Zaijian death, this should be a free Baron for the side of... Oh,
Lawrence, he's found Royal. He's got the double stun, and he's pushing them back single-handedly while the Baron is worked on. Baron will drop. Vam is at 0 HP, getting chased off by Samakin, and 5 members strong with the Baron. Aporia are in full control of game number 2.
With the Baron buff, with 4 dragons to their name, with Music and the Lucian securing the Baron in their favor, this game is looking so Aporia favored. And Bear, even though they had great ideas and really good early game, it's not looking that great at this point. With the Baron buff, they have to mount an amazing defense, or at the very least, a pick to try and stop the Baron push.
Definitely here. Now looking for a potential game-ending fight. Music is going to get spotted by Zaijian as they're going to look to keep the fight going, knocking him back away. But Lynx in from the side. Lynx takes down the support. He takes down the jungler. He is godlike as the flash knockup is connected by Music. A double kill over to Lynx. 3 members down for the Pookie Bears, and Aporia are ready to break into the base.
And I'm honestly thinking, Gordo, it's a patch too early to go for the Ezreal Karma. This duo, probably with the pops, looks way better next patch, but at this point, it's no Lucian Milio contest. It's just Lynx dominating the Rift on the Lucian, the Milio being marvelously strong, and the game looking to be already completed by the side of Aporia, poising themselves to be 2-0.
Huge play by Aporia. Masterful fights, excellent performance out of the carries, especially today. Samakin and Lynx and Music setting up the map to enable them has been absolutely critical for this Aporia squad, and You know, they might not have the cleanest early games in the world, but they come out with back-to-back wins thanks to the fact that this team are able to put those together.
And it's looking like something we talked about early on today in the draft, Gordo. The carries stepping up to the plate. Samikin and Lynx are trying to mark their names as strong as they can, and it's looking really, really great for them. So far, I've loved how they played. Samikin has been a strong laner, playing two different styles of lane as well, playing the Seer and the Yone today, and executing really well on both of those champions. So far, I'm excited to see how Samikin is going to keep on performing, especially when we reach the point of the Yokus where they face the stronger teams.
Absolutely. Cannot wait to start to see some more Aporia gameplay. Hoping to stick with them tomorrow. We will not find out until then, but that is going to do it for today's stream, today's recording. I can't stop saying stream. It is drilled into my brain.
Yep.
But thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.